anti-prophets, they'll be what? Being deceived. Scripture says the deceived and the deceiver are his. And evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse. So when you see men waxing worse and worse, because they're evil, because they're seducers. Okay. So now we went into that. We're going to go into wisdom of Solomon. We're going to speak about the idols. Yes, it's idolatry that what runs this world. So let's go to wisdom of Solomon. We're going to start from 13th chapter. Right? Everything around you. Anything you put more time into than Yahweh Abishai, it'd be classed as what? Idolism. Anything. Right? That's why we got to be what? Fully focused on this truth. Fully dedicated to this truth. And nothing else. You put your family before Yahweh Abishai, it's idolatry. Right? You put the Xbox before Yahweh, it's idolatry. You put your car before Yahweh, it's idolatry. You put your woman before Yahweh, it's idolatry. Okay. This is wisdom of Solomon. You put men before Yahweh, that's idolatry. You're supposed to put nothing before him, nothing. You don't put the words of men before you don't put the words of men before Yahweh Abishai. You don't do that. And what's all this rubbish about? Yeah, the great millstone. We do the most videos. So what if you do the most videos? We're the most diligent camp. That's rubbish. That's rubbish. Because look, I'm in this word every day by the Spirit of Yahweh Abishai. Great millstone. You could say you're the most diligent camp, but you could be doing things diligently, but still have what? The wrong intent towards Yahweh Abishai. Diligent. What you call what? Going missing for what? 4 or 5 days a week. Diligent. That's not diligent. Diligent is being in this every single day to the best of your ability. Because you've got brothers that have what? Different lots. Okay. Surely vain are all men by nature. All men are vain by nature. Right? All men. That's why you got to put your trust in Yahweh Shai. Right? Bear me just a minute. Burn up some incense. Okay. Righteously I'm burning incense, because even with that you could use something for a wicked purpose or a righteous purpose. It's not a sin to burn incense, but you can be doing it to burn it to idols. So again, okay, I got to throw that out there. You may have carnal individuals saying, well look, he's burning incense. Right? In just a minute. And again, you've seen, you know, the different things that are happening. Pre-adventure, I do prefer to be out on the highways, the streets. And if the Lord Yahweh Shai has it, where I'm out on the streets, I'll be out on the streets. But for now, this is going to be it. Okay? Until otherwise. Got to follow the Spirit of Yahweh Shai. Take heed. Right? Because a lot of our people, they got heavy spirit of demons upon them. Right? That make them act a particular way towards this truth and toward what the Lord's hopeful elect. Okay? Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon 13. Surely vain are all men by nature. All men. It didn't say some men. All men by nature. Right? And vain means empty. Right? Who are ignorant of the Most High. So a lot of people, they're ignorant of Yahweh Abishai. Right? And He's working. And could not out of the good things that are seen know Him that is. So today there's a lot of flowers, there's birds chirping, right? It's quite sunny, a lot of chemtrails in the air, right? But you can see the blue, you can still see the blue sky, all right? So the things that are seen, they still could not know Yahweh Shai, right? Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster. Neither by considering the works. The water, the air, even the air, the wind blowing past our face. They can still not consider who was the maker, who was the former of all these things. But deemed either fire or wind or swift air. Very sweet. I can't smell this. Put it in view where I can smell it. Oh. Alright. That's a bit better. Alright. But deemed either, okay, considering the works that they acknowledge the workmaster. Who's the workmaster? Yahweh Shai. He's the workmaster. But our people don't want to acknowledge the workmaster. Right? But deemed either fire or wind or swift air. So fire, the wind, or swift air. Right? That people actually worship these things. People worship fire. Right? What do you think it is when you see people gathered around fires? What do you think that is? In circles. I remember when I went to Venice. Don't want to talk too much. I remember when I went to Venice, LA. Yeah, I've been to America, different parts. Yes, I do have family in America, by the way. Okay. Be careful. I know individuals around there. Alright. I know individuals. I got family in LA. Right? Okay, I got family in New Jersey, all over. So anyway. Okay, some people, they do this. When I went to Venice, there was people sitting around a fire. Okay. Throwing up enchantments. Okay. Popping Molly and all that rubbish. Okay. This is real. So some people, what? They worship fire. Okay. Or wind. Or the swift air. Or the circle of the stars. Right? You got people that are what? Stargazers. Right? You're supposed to be looking at the stars all bugged out. You just get gazing at the stars all bugged. You're not supposed to be doing that. Yeah, the stars they were for what? These things, certain things, they were for signs. The moon for a sign. Right? And for weeks. And for months. So we get the word moon for what? Month. Right? And what was the sun for? But some people say, well, the sun, yeah, we know it's for the crops. It helps the crops and so forth. And the rain. But what was it for? Was we supposed to be serving that, or was it supposed to be serving us? It was supposed to be serving us. Not the other way around. That's digressive. That's degenerate. You worshipping the constellations. That's degenerate. That's not wise. That's the custom of what? The other nations. Okay? Or the violent water or the lights of heaven to be the gods which govern the world. So this is what our people, they actually have names for what? Different things. The wind, people worship the wind, people worship trees. What do you think it is when you see people hugging trees? It's idolatry. Scriptures never told us to do that. Scriptures never told us to do it. Scriptures didn't tell us at night time to look at the stars. Stargaze. Scriptures never told us to do that. It's idolatry, with whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods. Idols, excuse me. Yes, they took them to be what? Idols. Okay. Let them know how, excuse me. Let them know how much better the Lord of Rem is. Yahweh Shai. So you think, you're looking at the beauty of these things, let them know how much better the Lord Yahweh Shai of Rem is. And he was the one that formed these things. Right? For the first author of what? Beauty have created them. So who's the first author of beauty? Yahweh Shai. The author. Okay. The creator. Another word for author. Creator. The publisher of beauty. Yahweh Shai. That have created them. Excuse me. For if they were astonished at their power and virtue, right? Let them understand by Rem how much mighty he is that made Rem, right? So when you're looking at all these things, whether it's constellation, whatever it is, you're supposed to be looking at Yahweh Shai, seeing how much better he is that formed these things. How is it you're esteeming stars, the moon, wind over Yahweh Shai? Huh? And how much mightier he is that made them. Right? For by the greatness and beauty of the creatures proportionably, and everything is being put in proportion. Everything you see, it's in proportion, it's in balance. You got the seas, you got the tides, you got the borders, right? Everything in its proper proportion. Okay? And it says, the maker of them is seen through what these things, right? Why is the maker of them seen? Because it's a reflection of what Yahushua and the Heavenly Father likes. Right? You see grass, you see water, right? You see these things. This is a reflection of Yahushua, his creation, what he formed. But yet, for this they are less to be blamed. For they peradventure err, seeking the Most High and desiring to find him. So our people seek Yahweh Shai and they desire to find him. Right? For being confident in his works, they search him diligently. And you know what always comes to mind is what's that program? David Attenborough. But he doesn't believe all this study he does. He still doesn't believe there's a power, there's a higher power. He still doesn't, that's crazy. He still doesn't believe there's a higher power. Right? But yet for this they are less to be blamed, for they peradventure err. Okay? Seeking the Most High and desirous to find him, for being confident in his works, they search for him diligently. Archaeology, because Esau, he has the money. Right? Archaeology, diggings, different findings, the sea, the great sea. Okay. And believe their sight, because the things are beautiful that are seen. These are men, they're focused on the things that are seen, but they're not so much what's spiritual. Right? And it says, how about neither are they to be pardoned, for if they were able to know so much, they could aim at the world. If they were able to know so much, right? These individuals, they're so intellectual, that they could aim at the world. How did they not sooner find out the Lord Yahushua thereof? So how didn't they find out Yahushua thereof? But miserable are they, and in dead things is their hope. Miserable are they, and in dead things is their hope. Right? Because if they were to see all these things, they've done main studies, all these things, what would they be able to do? Right? They'd be able to know these things. Okay? Just like the individual, a Jake. That's crazy. I didn't even realize, I don't think he even realized what he just done. Okay? He just greeted me with a that I don't want to do that horn finger. He just done that. And that's a Jake. With a bald ass head. Okay, so everything is spiritual. He just put up the back home sign with his fingers. What they call the Monoconoto or whatever they call it. Right? So our people are showing you their allegiance. A lot of people they're juiced in. They're with this society. Right, anyway, let's continue. Yahushua always shows signs. Bear with me just a minute. Okay. Where was it? And but miserable are they that are in dead things is their hope. So our people, their hope is in dead things. What's the dead things? Idols. That's their hope. Right? Who call them to be gods, which are the work of men's hands, right? Idols, gold and silver, to show art in, and resemblances of beasts. Look at these other nations. Look at Elam. You look at their household. They have an elephant. They have the elephant. They have hands and this. It's beasts. Our people, they worship beasts. They worship animals. They worship the constellations, right? And therefore they become like beasts. They become like them Gentiles. Right? And a stone good for nothing, the work of an ancient hand. Right? Now a carpenter that felleth timber, after he have sawn down a tree, meat for a purpose, for the purpose, and taken off the bark skillfully round about, and have wrought it handsomely, and have made a vessel thereof, fit for the service of man's life. So they just cut this wood, okay, out of what? Out of the forest, and what, they make something out of it, an idol, and shape it to how they want to shape it. Okay? And after spending the refuse of his work to dress his meat, have filled himself and taken the very refuse, right? Among those which serve to no use, being a crooked piece of wood, and full of knots, having carved it diligently, which he have nothing else to do, and formed it by the skill of his understanding, and fashioned it to the image of a man. Okay? And that's what they do. Fashion it to the image of a man, right? The worship of a man, which is also what? Idolism again, right? Or made it like some vile beast. Okay? Got people that worship, and a lot of the northern tribes were doing it. They were worshipping jaguar, leopard, all these things. They were doing that, right? Same with Egyptology. What were they doing? They had crocodile heads, men's feet. That's all backwards. So what does it all tie back to? All these ancient customs and Babylon, ancient Babylon and Egypt, right? It all ties back to that. Okay? And it says, and painting, colouring it with red, and the colour of vermilion is what? Red, and covering every spot therein. And when you have made a convenient room for it, so they also set rooms for these things. Okay?